Good afternoon. My name is Jane Castleton, and I'd like to welcome all of you to the Philadelphia Museum of Art. I'll be your guide today as we explore the museum, its history, and its collections. Our tour today is a collection tour. It's called Museum Highlights, and we'll be focusing on some of the rooms in the museum today. The museum's famed period rooms, dining rooms, coat rooms, etc., restrooms. We'll also be talking about some of the visitor reception areas, as well as various service interests and sports spaces, and of course, this building, in which they're housed. And the museum itself being so compelling. Unfortunately, of course, we'll only be able to visit a small portion of the museum on our tour today. It's over 200 galleries, contain hundreds of thousands of objects spanning the globe and centuries. But just to give you a general idea to help you orient yourselves, this may be your very first visit to the museum today. Welcome again. This is the west entrance hall. Opposite, of course, is the east entrance, where we'll be going shortly. This is really the center of the museum, which, as you can see on these maps here, consists of a long central building with wings extending back at each end. It's 4 stories high, including the basement. This west entrance hall provides access to the ground floor, the south wing, which houses some of the public facilities that we'll be talking about later today. It also houses the museum's brand new combination information desk, admission desk. I hope that all of you paid your admissions fees, and membership desk. Of course, if you're a museum member, you don't have to pay admissions fee. Membership, of course, plays a vitally important role in the life of the museum. Many members indicate that they join the museum because they perceive it to be an institution of the highest quality, one of the world's greatest depositories of civilization. They see it as a place apart from the mundane demands of reality, where an individual may fortify his or her linkage with the creative forces of the world, old and new. And if you're a museum member, it'll also be able to use the members only lounge located directly above my head to the right, as you see. I myself did not pay an admissions fee. I'm not a museum member, nor am I a museum employee. I'm a visiting lecturer, a guest of the Division of Education. I'm also, like the Board of Trustees and the Museum Guides, a volunteer. It is thus my privilege, as a guest, as a volunteer, and, shall I say, as an artist, to be able to express myself here today simply as a unique individual, an individual with unique qualities, and I sincerely hope that I express my best qualities, as do we all, if I may say so. That's why we're here. This is the Great Stair Hall. As you can see, we're on the 2nd floor, just inside the east entrance, and as I mentioned earlier, this is where one of the center of the museum, and it provides access to the museum's collections. Behind me is the south wing, where the American artist normally kept himself on the 1st floor, with the medieval, Near and Far Eastern and South Asian art on the 2nd floor. In front of me is the north wing, where you'll find 20th century and European art on the 1st floor, and on the 2nd floor, more European art and the period rooms that we'll be talking about today. The Philadelphia Museum of Art is one of the oldest art museums in the United States. It was originally the Pennsylvania Museum and School of Industrial Art, and it was established in 1877. That was the Memorial Hall at this building. This building wasn't originally supposed to be the new home of the Pennsylvania Museum. It was first envisioned about 1907 just as a great building to be the terminal feature of the Benjamin Franklin Parkway. The purpose of the building was secondary. But an art museum is not just a building, not just a collection of objects. An art museum, particularly a municipal art museum like our own, is a public institution with a mission, with a mandate. And the Philadelphia Museum of Art, like all public institutions, is the product of public policy. What was that policy? Well, writing about the new museum and its service to Philadelphia and the museum in 1922, it wrote that we have come to understand that to rob people of things of the spirit and to supply them with higher wages as a substitute is not good policy, good economics, or good patriotism. Like the other municipal institutions of the day, the Zoological Garden and Aquarium, of course, also in Fairmount Park, the new free library on the Parkway, the new municipal stadium, Camp Happy for undernourished children, Brown's Farm for dependent and abandoned children, the new House of Corrections, the new hospital for mental diseases at Barclay, the new General Hospital at Lockley, the Hospital for Contagious Diseases at Lockley, the Hospital for the Feeble-Minded at Lockley, the Home for the Indigent at Lockley, the commercial museums. Next to Lockley, where homeless men were sometimes housed, dedicated to an economic education, now the Philadelphia Civic Center, the poorhouses of Germantown, Roxborough, and Lower Dublin. Called living tombs and social cemeteries, vile catch-alls for all those in need, squalid warehouses for the failures and cast-offs of society. No one would enter the poorhouse voluntarily. The receipt of public assistance was made into a ritual of public degradation so foreign that even the meanest work for the meanest wages were preferable. The Municipal Art Gallery that really served its purpose would provide an opportunity for enjoying the highest privileges of wealth and leisure to all those who had cultivated tastes but not the means of gratifying them. And for those that had not yet cultivated tastes, the museum would provide a training in taste. But above all, the new art museum was to be generous enough to fitly symbolize the function of art as the expression of all that is noblest in either the achievements or the aspirations of humanity. Where there is no vision, the people perish. And just look at this view. Magnificent. If we do not possess art in a city or beautiful spots in a city, we cannot expect to attract visitors to our hometown. And because young people in particular are drawn to the Philadelphia attracts a huge labor pool of college education and trained technical people, and because of its old manufacturing tradition, skilled laborers are also plentiful. The climate is healthy, quality space is available and affordable, but even more importantly, Philadelphia is livable. You can choose from 5 professional sports teams, a world-class symphony, as hundreds of museums, the largest municipal park system in the country, and a restaurant renaissance the whole world is talking about. Plus, 8 million square feet of new commercial office space, high-tech healthcare, medical publishing and printing, general business services, financial services, and fashion. I'd like to move on now to the museum's galleries, where we'll be discussing some of the period rooms, as I mentioned earlier. This is the Grand Salon of the Chateau du Vent. It's French, 18th century. Few eras in the history of mankind are as preoccupied with living in skies as the 18th century France. Notice the chaste style, characteristic of the later years of King Louis. His reign, here revealed in his reign and simplicity in the broad surfaces and the slender portions of the frames. In the classical ornaments carved with most extreme crispness and real brilliance. Of great beauty and refinement, unusual interest, of the utmost delicacy. Next, I'd like to talk about another period room. It's just across the gallery. This is a paneled room from England, dating from 1625. It contains 17th century Dutch paintings and was installed in the museum in 1953. And in here, this is the men's room. What a difference there may be on opposite sides of the thin partitioned wall. On this side is a family inclined to dirt and disorder because of its unperfect social education. Cleanliness of a person's room is wholly forgotten. The floors become littered with filth because no one feels the desire or the obligation to have it otherwise. The rights of property are disregarded or respected only through fear and personal force. On this side of the wall, only a few inches away, the floor, neatly carpeted, spotless. The center table holds a lamp and a vase with fresh-cut flowers. There are pictures on the walls, a landscape or a family. One may even find a bureau turned into a shrine. It stands to reason that slovenly and destructive occupants will not accord the same attention that is given to those who are clean and careful and prompt in their payments. The public, who buy clothes and table china and inexpensive jewelry, must be forced to raise their standards of taste by seeing the masterpieces of other civilizations in other centuries. Here, for example, imposing architectural installations provide noble settings within the museum's galleries. Resplendently, amazingly flawless. This figure is among the finest and most beautiful creations, an image of exceptional rhythm and fluidity. This is the most spectacular. Prized for their clear, bold patterns and relatively few yet strong and harmonious, more than 1,000 works collected by celebrated Philadelphia lawyer, sculptural, monumental, in an austere sense. Steady, thrifty, four-handed and domestic in their habits, independent and self-helpful, quietly self-assured. One of the most jarring and emotionally effective interpretations, the writhing, enchained, muscular, majestic, frenzied, vast, and vigorous, perfectly complemented Europe's opulent palaces and churches. Let's move on to the next gallery, shall we? This charming group of dancing maidens, charming, graceful, mythological, life-size, a creation of almost visionary splendor. The sweeping and surging, exaggerated lunging at once so splendidly theatrical and so obviously individualized. Though she was from out of town, her background was similar to theirs, and she fit into the routine of afternoons at home. The Tuesday box at Academy Music, the opening night of the Euro Painting Show, where the best qualities of taste were sustained and disliked, etc. In scale and complexity, the most ambitious undertaking in the great European tradition. Abundance and grace, free from time or change.